gradual decay of a dominant empire, even small product changes go through the rigor of a NASA space launch. A once great company that has ceased to function. No mission, no agency, illusions of exceptionalism and mismanagement. 1.3 years. If you're wondering what that number is, it's the average time an employee stays at Google before deciding to quit. With a salary averaging between $105,000 to $187,000, this places some Google employees in the top 10% of earners in the United States. But that isn't just it. With extra benefits like full course meals throughout the day, fitness facilities, areas for pets, paid time off, and parental leave, Google sounds like the workplace paradise for everyone. Research shows it's 20 times harder to get hired at Google than it is to get into Harvard. Google is the Holy Grail of careers. So why is it that the average Google employee quits after only 1.3 years? This video is going to cover a balanced argument as to why Google's employees leave so quick, both how Google is an exploitative company that preys on its employees' weaknesses, and how some of these facts and statistics can be looked at in a different light. In 2022, a former Google employee went viral on TikTok for exposing the dark reasons behind the lavish perks offered at companies like Google. It garnered more than 5 million views as Ken went on to describe how the range of benefits offered at Google are designed to keep employees in the office for as long as possible.
Companies like Google are known for their amazing perks, right? But what if I told you there's a dark reason those companies do that? To get you to work more for less. At Google, you get 3 square meals a day for free, but dinner would start at like 6:30, so you had to stay late working more to get the free food. My favorite perk was the shuttles. They would start at 6 a.m. in the morning and they would run home till 10 p.m. at night. And they had Wi-Fi on them, so you would work while on the shuttle. I love that you could bring your dog to the office and that the offices were dog friendly, but in reality, they did that so you would not leave the office to go take care of your dog. I'm like, well, I would rather not have those perks and I'd rather just have a higher salary. He said, well, too bad, that's not really how this works. All of the perks are designed to keep you working there longer and harder for less money than you would at a traditional 9 to 5 because they're taking care of everything else. What's your favorite perk you get at your job? Let me know if you didn't know this.
And these benefits would have been okay if it weren't for the fact that a combination of a new job and these irresistible perks often lead to new employees' lives being consumed by 6 letters: Google. The gilded offices of Silicon Valley have both the amenities and exclusivity of a country club. The need to keep the outside world locked up is understandable, but I worry that the locks go both ways, and it makes complete sense. Although the extra perks like being able to do your dry cleaning at work are great, it starts to become apparent that the clear line between work and real life starts to blur and almost merge. The perks and plans set up by employers to promote productivity and work-life balance can at times have the opposite effect, and I'm not the only one that thinks so. Joe Canella, former senior account manager for Google, stated, basically, you end up spending the majority of your life eating Google food with Google coworkers, wearing Google gear, talking in Google acronyms, sending Google emails on Google phones, and you eventually start to lose sight of what it's like to be independent of the company. And every corner of your life is set up to reinforce the idea that you'd be absolutely insane to want to be anywhere else. And in the book titled, It Doesn't Have to Be Crazy at Work, one study found that employees with unlimited vacation policies took fewer days off on average than employees that only had a limited amount of vacations. Google's perks seemed amazing at first, but over time I realized they were just golden handcuffs designed to keep me at my desk longer. Now it's no surprise that stress is common at any job, whether it be a CEO of a company or the newly hired PA that has to meet impossible deadlines. But like anything in life, there's a line that shouldn't be crossed, and in this case it's the employee's health. In a study conducted by payscale.com, it was reported that about 53% of Google's employees report extreme job stress, and Google's usual answer to this very concerning issue would be flashing their fancy services like extra time off and being able to get away from all the stress. But these things don't tend to be very helpful at all, and the reason why is very apparent. It's simply because many Google employees reported that they felt as though they were always under pressure, racing against the clock and their own peers. And so most Google employees were met with unreasonable deadlines and had their careers on the line. So what happens when an employee working as part of a group decides to take a break in one of the spa rooms or take one of those paid vacations off? Yep, you guessed it. They're labeled as lazy and not part of the team, and come back to a barrage of insults. As I said at the start of the video, landing a job at Google in the corporate world is the equivalent of winning the lottery. With more than 3 million applicants a year, and only 7,000 of them being accepted, it's easier to get into Harvard. Now with these statistics in mind, you can just imagine how competitive it is at Google. You're surrounded by the most brilliant minds in your area of work, and it might seem good to have a bunch of genius allies at first, but employees quickly realize that most people are out for themselves. And to compensate for the competitive environment, a culture of constantly trying to one-up each other is bred. And currently, one of the major issues with the computer science industry is the misleading perception around it. The media portrays computer science as a guaranteed path to six-figure salaries and job security. Universities also buy into and promote this notion. Large companies fuel this narrative by claiming a talent shortage and an inability to hire quickly enough. But those big tech companies keep talking about a talent shortage as if there's a scarcity of skilled individuals. Here's the catch. It's not about a lack of talent. It's about finding the right kind of talent. It's not just about acing algorithms and coding. It's about having a genuine passion for computer science. Things like participating in competitions and coding in your free time, not just listening to lectures and sleeping. So when these type of people come together under the same roof, the aftermath isn't pretty. Former employees refer to it as being in an all-you-can-eat buffet where everyone's racing to grab the last slice of pizza. Before leaving Google, Michael Lynch had performance ratings that strongly exceeded expectation. His goal was to reach the next level as a senior software engineer. Unfortunately, there was a difference in opinion between him and the promotion committee, who made it impossible for him to get promoted. They insisted on seeing him complete a project before making any decisions, but Michael was constantly interrupted by Google, who kept assigning him with new projects before he could even finish the current ones. But Michael's experience with Google's promotion system has happened to countless employees and is far from the worst. It took me a while to realize, but many people here are extremely political. I personally know of the following cases: people getting promoted up the ladder despite little technical merit. I know a TA on the engineering ladder who doesn't know basic terms and processes in his field of work. The promotions he had were due to chumming and rubbing shoulders with the right people. In order to maintain this facade, I've seen these same people take credit for others' work. In one case, I've seen a manager take design documents from another employee and stamp his name on instead. But politicalness isn't limited to people going for promotions. I've heard of new hiring committee members asking technically difficult questions even they didn't know the answers to, in order to look smart in front of their hiring committee peers when they read hiring packets. And these are just some of the examples of Google employees that have witnessed and experienced workplace injustice at the hands of Google. However, now that we've discussed how Google can be seen as a tyrannical company that is manipulative, it's time for the other side of the argument. We're going to explore how some of this information may be misleading. Although it's true that 1.3 years is a short amount of time, one of the largest reasons for this is company hopping. Getting into a big company serves as the ultimate form of validation. Here's the problem. Once that box is checked, they're already on the search for their next chapter of work. And working in Google will almost always upgrade an employee's CV, so company hopping to other places like Facebook is extremely easy and common. In fact, there are numerous instances in which employees have left to start their own companies and accomplish their dreams. Take Liz Wessel, for example. She was a former Google employee and now CEO of a company called Way Up. Wessel told Business Insider she knew it was time to leave Google when she couldn't stop thinking about her next career move. Or Crystal Bick, who left Google at a six-figure salary to pursue her side hustle of being a social media influencer. Both of these people have had really successful futures after leaving Google, and so did many more. So is Google really at fault for its employees having a hunger to strive for more? Now, going back to the Ken situation at the start of the video. Later on in that same video we watched, he also went on to explain a similar pattern that he experienced whilst working at Yelp, where he enjoyed unlimited coffee and snacks but at a price.
When I worked at Yelp, there were baristas to make coffee for you, and there was tons of snacks. And I asked my director, though, why do I not earn commission until I book $12,000 in sales every month? And he told me, that's when we break even on you for the office, for the snacks, for the perks that we give you. And I'm like, well, I would rather not have those perks, and I'd rather just have a higher salary. He said, well, too bad, that's not really how this works.
These type of situations with employees aren't just unique to Google. They can't exactly just hand out promotions, because at the end of the day, as a business, their main priority is profit. So it begs the question, does the issue really concern one company or the entire corporate world?